Hello everyone, my name is Sathyam and I'm currently the data science club lead at Matrix. And from this video and the upcoming series of video, we'll be basically having our podcast series Data Trail, where we'll be bringing you different guests who will be speaking about the data science industry and the AI/ML industry. Okay, so our first guest is Aarav Bhaiya. He is our senior in 4th year. So hello Bhaiya.
Hello, Sathyam.
Hello. So, to the ones who don't know Aarav Bhaiya, let me tell you that he's currently a data science intern at Swiggy, and currently he's doing specialization in AI/ML. Yeah, he's doing specialization in AI/ML, as well as he's an honor student where he has published 2 research papers in fabulous conferences. So, my first question to you, Bhaiya, is that you have done so many things, and I personally know that your GPA is fabulous, a typical 9 grader, 9 plus grader. So how are you able to manage these things?
To be honest, people make it sound so difficult that managing everything is it is impossible. But at the same time, I feel like it is not. To be really honest, it's very easy.
But considering the timetable and everything of triple ITs, what we see, we usually don't have much time. I mean, each and every UG has at least of 6 to 7 hours of classes. So how are you able to manage that time? Because many of the juniors, even who are coming right now, they are like, "Bhaiya, we're not able to manage the time. We're not getting it."
I think they waste a lot of amount of time in very unproductive things. I'm not saying I don't watch, I don't enjoy, I don't watch Instagram.
Yeah.
I use time there. But when deep down and I know that I have to work on my specialization, I have to work on my honors. So unconsciously I decrease my time in such unproductive things and try to divide my time such that I can do everything equally.
Okay.
So it's more like there's there's an unconscious pressure inside your head. So I think the way that I'm handling everything is I have taken everything, so I don't know how it will go.
So you just don't think, you just go with the flow. Yeah. I'm just taking it.
Yeah, I think that's the motto of my life. Just start doing it.
Okay.
Whatever will happen, we will see later. I never intended to do honors. My friends were taking it. I was like, let's just take it. I didn't even want to do higher studies.
Okay.
I took a specialization. I already knew AI/ML. I didn't require specialization, but I was like, let's just do it. So
Okay.
it was more like let's just do it. Whatever will happen, we'll see. So
Right. Well, guys, I forgot to tell you one point that Aarav Bhaiya is our ex-lead. So he was the one who had given me the responsibility of handling the club for this tenure. Okay, so coming to AI/ML, Bhaiya, as you said, you're in AI/ML. So how did the journey of data science and AI/ML start in your academic year?
yeah, actually, I have noticed many of the students, they find this very confused. They were like, should we start with data science? Even in their first year, they are very early in their life, and they were like, what if we start up with the wrong thing? They are very feared of the thing, trying out things. They don't want to try. They want to just pick out one option and be master of it within very less time.
True.
Which is not possible. Even me myself, I have did web development for roughly 2 years. Till the end of second year, I was doing web development, and I did my internship also in web development.
So that was till the 4th semester.
Yeah, till the 4th semester, I was doing web development. Then I realized that maybe this is not the right thing. So I just took a pivot. I started learning AI/ML data science. I was learning from roughly in the 3rd semester only, but it was not nothing serious. So after that, I started it, and coming back to the question that you were like, what was my journey? So it never started from the 1st semester. It started way later. So I just wanted to say to all the UGCs that don't UG1 or UG2 that don't take it too seriously, that we have to pick the correct thing in the first time. You can try out. And for this data science journey, it started with reading about articles. Everyone has something with which they tune a lot. For example, some prefer to look at the videos. Some prefer to hear podcasts. I prefer to go through some articles, like W3 School is there, tutorial points is there.
Medium articles.
Yeah, Medium articles. So I really enjoy them. So I was going through the articles, so I learned all the basics about this data science through those articles. Later on, with time, then I realized that data science is a very awesome thing, but to implement it, we require machine learning.
That's correct.
So thanks to my friend Animesh, I get to know about this Andrew NG course, which is quite famous in our college also.
Yeah, the time when I was giving my avatar interview and when I messed it up, he was the one who recommended me Andrew NG course.
So that is an awesome course. So I did it, and yeah, I actually developed my basics over ML. That is still in the fourth semester only. After this fourth semester certification, I completed AI/ML. I learned DL.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
I started my honors in DL.
Here also you have done everything. Data science and AI will both the
Yeah.
things.
So I had to run up because I was a little late, but trust me, it was totally awesome journey.
Okay, so coming to data science and AI ML, we all know that machine learning is something which is very common in both the things.
Yeah.
So let's say that if a specific person is just aiming to become a data scientist, right? So what is the difference in between in becoming a data scientist and an AI ML or engineer?
I personally think,
Like, what is the tech stack, to be
Yeah.
precise?
I personally think you cannot call yourself a good AI/ML engineer if you don't know data science,
Okay.
and you cannot call yourself a good data scientist if you don't know AI/ML. They
Okay.
both really go hand in hand. But if you go any specific in the tech stack, the main objective of data scientist is to work with millions and billions rows of data, work on very different type of metrics, very different type of business metrics, our income metrics, and there are so many different type of metrics to get to just calculate important predictions from the data. Till now, we have not implemented any model. We are just fetching important information from the data, and because the data is so large, you have to be very precise about everything, how it is deviating. There are so many methods that we use to understand the data, and it is roughly you take all the time of it. Once you are sure, like now I know everything about the data. I know what is the meaning of each column. I have run so many experiments that I know what every data says. Now now your job as a data scientist is almost complete. Now you will implement the AI/ML part. You will use this data to implement machine learning algorithms. So if you are a good data scientist, so you can process this data very well, and if you are a good AI/ML engineer, you can check, you can test the best model for it. So they both go really hand in hand. And as you asked about the tech stack, for data science, it's definitely NumPy, Pandas. It's a must, and definitely some plotting libraries, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and because you want to be a data scientist, you don't want to go much depth into ML. It's best to learn sklearn and Scikit for ready-made ML functions. Just give the data, they will return you the ML model. That's totally awesome. Okay, so one thing that I will highly recommend, like once you are done, you are very good in this data scientist. One thing that I will recommend is to learn Spark, Apache Spark. That is really used. I have heard
for
many
distributed computing, right?
for distributed computing, because really when you are working with billions of rows of data, you cannot do it on your own computer. You have to learn Apache Spark and learn how to divide your data into million of nodes, process it, and get the data back.
That's a new thing which I'm getting to know right now.
Okay, so that's something. For AI/ML, I highly recommend you go understand the basics. Don't just go up like, now I will learn Torch, PyTorch, TensorFlow,
Right.
and just start with a model and I'm getting 90% accuracy. Don't go with that. Understand the basics. How these models are learning. How these models, what the hyperparameters represent. How you can tune the hyperparameters to get the best result. I always say, like, getting 90% accuracy with a model is not very tough, but taking that 90 to 92, 95, 96, that's terribly difficult.
Okay.
That what's differentiate a new AI/ML engineer, AI/ML specialist to, and someone who has years of experience, because he knows exactly which hyperparameter to tune to get the best outcome.
Okay, so coming to the data science and AI ML technologies, we all have heard about the term generative AI, right? So can you just elaborate a bit how important is generative AI right now, and what is the scope of generative AI in the next 5 to 10 years?
Like, there is literally no doubt that generative AI have huge potential.
Right.
Like, people sometimes are little scared that generative AI is going to take our jobs. We should not take too much support out of
People
them.
have those YouTube ads.
Generative AI is going to take your jobs. Just
Correct.
but look on the bright side. Look, I use generative AI totally, like, openly. There's, like, when I write code, I use so many prompts to complete my work, very fast. That is something people should understand. AI is just here to help us. If there is any time when it will overtake us, it is like maybe 100 of years later. It is not right now. whatever right now we are working with is just AI to help us. So generative AI is literally having huge potential, and I'm like, if I had a choice, like if I have the choice to go back, I would have definitely used my time to learn more about generative AI. Because right now I can say that I know the basics how generative AI works, but I'm not the specialist out of it.
But like according to what we have discovered in generative AI right now, we cannot say that generative AI can do everything, right?
Yeah.
That's why we have those ML models and DL models. Because nowadays, whenever I meet any of my juniors or any of the person who are starting the field of data science, they have not done data science for 10 to 15 days and they're asking, can I jump to generative AI? So it's very important for people to know that machine learning and all those traditional technologies are also important, right?
Yeah. Actually, that is actually even more important, because most of the people who are feared of generative AI is the people who don't know how it works.
How it works.
People who know how it works laugh over these things, because they know like this, AI taking over us is like how much impossible it is.
Correct.
I'm not saying completely impossible, but how much difficult it is. The way they are trained, the way they work. Those who know the basis of it, those who know how these models work, they are only there to help us build things faster and better way. They're not here to dominate us, and I don't know, people are watching Terminator movie, whatever.
Okay, so let's say that I am a pure beginner in data science and like I want to start data science. So what can be my common mistakes when I start for data science? Because I've seen many of the people when they start their data science journey, even if they have a set of resources or something also, they usually take a lot of time learning the fundamentals, and at the end they just get confused that, oh my god, I have to learn this, I have to learn that. So technically, what are the pitholes in this learning journey?
One downside of data science is like in web development we get the results immediately. Like
That's
you just code some HTML, CSS, and you got some awesome results. So you are very happy. You keep on improving yourself. You keep on honing your skills. But this is not the case with data science. You have to learn a lot of basics, and there is no limit. You can increase your depth no matter how much you want. You can increase your depth. There is no limit to the amount of content available online and everywhere. So you don't know when to stop, when should I work for projects, what is the limit. So I personally suggest you do. There is a very awesome website that I've always suggested to my juniors. This i.am.ai.
Yeah, i.am.ai. Yes.
If the possible, just put the link in the description.
Yeah, sure. I'll put it.
So this thing has a very beautiful pathway. So like you can, instead of juggling around here and then, you can just go to the important topics that are necessary. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. You don't need to learn everything. Not in just data science, in web development, in Android development, wherever you go. You don't need to learn everything. You only need to learn the 20 things that are used 80% of the time.
That's right.
So when you are in the pathway, you don't need to learn everything. There are just important topics mentioned. You can learn about the topics. What is their meaning? Because they are just theoretical concepts. Bias, variance, precision. These are just theoretical concepts that help you understand the data better. So you have to know them, what they represent, and understand them. Once you are good with the basics, then you have to immediately start giving contests in Kaggle. I know that becomes a little fast. Students think like this big data set. Even if you feel a little uncomfortable, look on previous contests. So look at the notebook of the previous winners of the contest. Look at the notebooks, how they take data, how they apply different filtering, how they go through each point and write it. That's very important. Like whenever you perform EDA, those who don't know, EDA means exploratory data analysis. So we analyze the data for our best results. So that is something that is really, really important. Writing everything that you understand from the data. So all these things you will understand only when you look at others who have done it in their notebooks in Kaggle contest. So I highly recommend that. Like instead of just going over the theory and theory, go for a little more practical. Look at the Kaggle contest, look at their notebooks, and try to participate in it. That's a very good way. Instead of like totally relying on theory, go some projects. And once you are well versed with working with data, I highly recommend you, even if you are planning to become only a data scientist, only in data analytics, definitely learn AI/ML concepts. It will help you become better in your own data science skills. Whatever you're working with, and like even for the AI/ML engineers, I highly recommend them to understand the data science basics and understand how it works. That's
the
the
best
best way out.
important. People usually skip directly to machine learning and deep learning.
That's actually worst way.
That is the worst part, yes,
Yeah.
because they again need to start from the basics.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Bhaiya, nowadays the season of clubs are going on in our college. So could you please tell me what was your journey in the club, like from the interview stage to being the lead in Matrix?
Yeah, I still
You would have
remember-
applied in all the clubs, GDSC, and Matrix, I think. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man, when GDS interview was such a terrible. During my 5 minutes of interview, I got 3 calls.
Okay.
I don't know, so it went really terrible. But okay, I was okay with it. Okay, whatever happens, happens. I got selected. I was happy with the email thing. So for the matrix, when I was leaving, I didn't because I also never started with actual data science. So I learned that this club is going up for interviews. So I started with W3 schools. I created my own notebooks, put up all my basic notes at how it works, and luckily they asked almost similar questions, and I got selected in a data science lab with almost zero knowledge of data science.
Okay.
So,
You
but
had even
then,
taken the interview with zero knowledge.
but I was not like satisfied with it. So I kept on learning about it, and that really helped me a lot. Like in the long run, I knew a lot more than people who just because there are maybe others who. Okay, I did not talk about this. You're like so that was the one thing. But like I had this thing inside me that right now whatever this club is, I had this some personal connection with this club.
Matrix.
Yeah, like
Same.
even I was this core member. I was hoping like I don't know who will become lead, but I was hoping to make this because I was already big club, so there was nothing much I can do. I was just a small part in the big machine.
That's correct.
For Matrix, there was nothing much. So I had something like I can build it over. I can do so much. So like as a core member, I also created my own events that turned out to be really successful. As you know,
Yes.
the pop quiz turned out to be really successful, and by the time like when I become lead, I had a full free hand. I enjoyed that time so much. Like I had such a wonderful juniors for all you three.
One of you was me.
Yeah. So we conducted so many events. We interacted with so many juniors, and it was one of the best time of me, like working as a matrix lead. Like I was happy with it. Like no matter like anyone comes or not, I was very happy with whatever we did.
Okay, that's great. So coming to Matrix, like how did it come Matrix? How did the name Matrix came?
Actually, I think
that's actually interesting.
My super senior, not super senior.
Super senior. Okay.
He created the club Matrix. So actually at that time, the Matrix was a movie was getting a lot of famous.
Okay, Matrix movie. Yes.
Yeah, the Matrix movie. I think there was a 4th part, 5th part that just came out recently. Or so it was getting really famous. Everyone was the name of it, and then our college students realized that there is not a single club dedicated to data science. Being like even that time data science was a budding thing. Like everyone was know that this is going to be a big thing,
Yes.
but no one was sure. So our super senior, he was like, okay, we should make a specific club for data science, and that's how Matrix was named.
Okay, so coming to data science, AI, ML versus development. So we all know that our college is focusing a lot towards development, web development and Android development. But there are many students who are going into the field of AI, ML and machine learning and data science. So one of the most common questions, even now, how important is DSA for data science?
Okay, let me answer it honestly because firstly, I applied for I was the AI intern in transport, then I became a data science intern in Swiggy. For the transport, they really didn't ask any of the DSA questions.
Okay.
They were like, "Are you good with AI? Show us your projects." I showed them my projects. They were like, "Okay, you're good to go."
Okay.
For data science, this at Swiggy, they were very critical from the basics. They don't care like you know 100 algorithms, doesn't matter. Do you know this very simple algorithm? How in a very practical application, how you will implement it? Simple. And as you asked it, data DSA, they asked me one question of DSA, and that one question was like if you start DSA tomorrow today, within 4 to 5 days you will enter into that question. It was simple string question.
Okay, strings and arrays.
Yeah, so it was a very simple question, but they were like just code it in Python, and they don't care about time complexity. The only thing that they want to see is can you code a problem. Like I see people thinking DSA is like a practice of Like for web development, they cannot just check your development skills, so they are practicing DSA. DSA is actually problem solving. Whatever a problem is there, can you code it, the problem and its solution in a code, in actual code? Can you program it? That's the main objective of DSA. Can you solve a problem using code? So that this is a very universal skill. It is not dedicated to web development, SDE role, or AI. So that is my suggestion for like everyone who is in AI and DS. Mostly DSA will not be asked like in much in depth. It will be asked very simple. Like I also appeared in this interview of Dell. They asked this DSA, but it's very simple DSA. They prefer to ask you in Python, so that they are sure that you have a good grasp of Python data structures. I highly recommend you to do DSA, not go for very hard questions or like very hard medium questions. Don't go for it, but at least practice DSA. Practice your knowledge of implementing your thoughts, implementing your problem in code. That is a skill that is required no matter what you do. Even in AI/ML, you have to sometimes code things up, even if you don't have the idea how to do it, but you still have to code them. So to understand the problem and code it, that is the skill of DSA. Okay. To choose the right data structures, to choose how to put them in a loop or different sets. So that is the skill that you have to learn, and I highly recommend it. Don't get away from DSA because now you're in AI/ML, you don't need DSA. You will still be requiring it, not maybe directly but indirectly.
Okay, that's great. So coming to Swiggy, you have been doing intern since half a month or 1 month is almost 1 month, right? So could you please tell like what kind of work, what are you doing? Not much, but yeah, this is a bit of idea.
Okay, I might be breaking some laws.
That's the same thing our alumni had told.
Some authorized forms like you cannot share this. So just like give you some grasp of how it works. As an intern, they don't really give you too much work because they know like you are just a beginner. You have to understand how the real world works. Like I don't know about very early startups, they don't have much of a data, so I think working there is much more easy. But when you are in such big companies and they have millions and billions of data, and whatever you do, whatever you think will work doesn't work. So it becomes a lot more complicated. It is not just a question of how much skilled you are. It is about this very simple things, how you can implement them in a very less time because there's a lot of data. So my current work is on this. We have different models for rating their customers and everything, rating customers, drivers and everything. So we have a lot of rows of data. So we only work for a small set of data for testing purposes. That is still 1 million or billions rows. So we create models, we get some result, we analyze it, whether this result is satisfying our needs or not, how much more business it is generating, how much we are losing for each customer. So these are so many metrics that we calculate. We understand whether this is good or not, finding the right threshold for so many things. I can't go much in detail for obvious reasons.
That's okay. Okay, so bhaiya, nowadays the season of placements is going on, right? So, and many of the people in the field of data science and AI/ML, usually from the colleges, they look for off-campus placements. So, how to approach recruiters or companies off-campus in this domain?
Actually, I've also seen many students, they are quite afraid of off-campus. They're like, whatever, can just everything bring to the institute. I highly suggest, everyone who is watching it, even if you got one on-campus offer, try to go for off-campus. Your real value is always it's shown in off-campus because there you are fighting with almost like on equal ground. So you try to give your best. You're not thinking about beating your classmates or everyone. You're thinking about beating everyone. So you give your best and you actually get your best results. So I highly recommend everyone to go for off-campus. Instead, I highly recommend I highly recommend students to not wait for internships. Even not internships, don't wait for college to provide internships. Go on Internshala, Well-Found, or so many platforms are there to find awesome internships. Go there. I know for web development it's very easy to get internship. Like I got it very good, so I'm pretty sure it's very easy for web developments to get internship. For data scientists, definitely it becomes a little more tough because everyone is looking for someone who has some sort of experience and people who know something at least, who have done somewhere, because they are hiring data scientists by cutting some cost. They don't know how much hiring data scientists will help them.
Right.
So this is quite a risk for them as well. That's why they are quite skeptical whether to take it or not, and whether to take it. It is someone experienced who has worked on PhD or something, or doctorate something. So they are skeptical about like whether what to do, like whether to take this fresh or not. But I highly recommend it. Like even in LinkedIn, I've heard many of my friends who got internship directly from LinkedIn. Because like LinkedIn, they were like this simply searching of people with you can show off your data science certificates, you can show off your data science projects, and you can just directly approach people who have just recently started some startup. Even in your like near neighborhood, you can see like someone has started a startup which is not just like very early bird startup, but yeah, it has been there for almost 1 year. You can ask them whether you need a data scientist for like to complete all this work and make it more optimized. So this is one way, definitely. LinkedIn connections and internships. These three are like the most obvious ways. Apart from that, for big companies, what it goes like, and this is one of the mistakes that many students did, including me. In the third year, around roughly this, in the sixth semester, as soon as sixth semester starts, all these companies, big companies, like I'm not talking about simple ones, big companies, they release their placement drives. Like they start hiring interns because they have a lot of money they can spend on hiring interns or like random interns. So don't think like I'm not ready for this big company. Don't think about it. Just sit in the their internship opportunities. Prepare your best resume and go for it. Don't think about whether I will get selected or not. And try to be prepared before the sixth semester, because many students lost this opportunity, and I was one of them. So
right.
I will definitely recommend to be prepared before sixth semester.
Okay, so coming to the just before step of placements and everything, making a typical portfolio, like we know that we have to make certain projects for data science, machine learning and other all fields. So what kind of projects should we typically do in this field? Because some people, they just do normal projects of k-means clustering or whatever algorithm it is, and some people, they go for higher algorithms like transformers, encoders and decoders. So they don't understand what kind of projects are sufficient for going into that specific company or that specific role. So
I highly recommend to make the resumes, like all your projects, all your portfolios, make it accessible. Like like when you make a website, you always try to host the website so that anyone who will come to see your project, they will click on the link and see your website. That's a good experience. That whatever this guy wrote, that this is the function available in my website, the person can go and check it out. That's something really awesome. So if you are going with data science and ML, same thing you can apply, and don't put your notebooks there. That this is the notebook, I have done this methods and I've got this result. People don't like reading through the code and getting the results in there. Always try to host your code in a very interactive way. Some methods, some very simple projects that I also use, like simple hand recognition MNIST data. It's a very famous problem. You can just make a simple project out of it, where there is a website which is taking hand-drawn canvas input of any digit, and it is predicting that digit. Okay. So anyone who will open your resume, it will like, instead of like, there are two resumes. One resume has written, I have worked on MNIST dataset. In another resume, there is a link of this hand sign recognition project. The person will click on the link, he will get a website, it will draw some digit, and it shows the prediction. It will create a marginal difference between both of them. One is like just claiming that I have done this, the other one is showing with proof. So that is something that students should keep in mind. Like
deployment is really important.
Yeah,
right?
they really like when they are going for internships, showing up their skills in front of employer. They should show like whatever I'm saying that I can do, you have some proof for it. Deployment or any way which you can show that whatever I'm saying is genuine.
अच्छा भैया, पॉडकास्ट वगैरह एक अपनी जगह, जिंदगी कैसी चल रही है आपकी? सही बताना।
देखो ऐसे काफी लोग सोचेंगे कि जिंदगी में हैंडलिंग ऑल दीज थिंग्स बहुत मुश्किल होने वाला है, नहीं होता, बट ट्रस्ट मुझे पता है जिंदगी एकदम इतनी मुझे ऑसम चल रही है ना।
सही है। okay.
मैं जितने ऐसे कॉलेज में मिलता हूँ कि मरे हुए चल रहे हैं, नींद पूरी नहीं है, मैं हर 7 घंटे की नींद काटता हूँ, भले ही पॉडकास्ट 1 बजे रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है पर हर रोज 8 घंटे की नींद निकालता हूँ. प्रॉपर मैं अपना जो कुछ सब कुछ करता हूँ. अपने 3 टाइम की खाना खाता हूँ. मस्त मैं देखता हूँ.
एनिमे. ओके, कौन आपका फेवरेट एनिमे बता दो लोगों को.
एनिमे से पहले बात करता हूँ.
हाँ.
इन लोग जिन लोगों को पता नहीं है, मैं बिग 3 कंप्लीट कर चुका हूँ.
बहुत बढ़िया. मैंने भी
वन पीस, नारुतो, ब्लीच. ठीक है.
Yes.
तो ऐसा कोई ऐसा नया नहीं. ठीक है. बहुत वन पीस कैच अप हूँ मैं.
बहुत बढ़िया.
तो
अच्छा, एक फाइनल सवाल. एक टिपिकल डीप लर्निंग के मॉडल को समझना ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है या एक महिला को?
भाई कितना सिंपल क्वेश्चन है भाई. डीप लर्निंग मॉडल भाई इतना सिंपल होता है, क्या बात कर रहे हो भाई.
अच्छा, तो मतलब ट्रांसफॉर्मर के आर्किटेक्चर ज़्यादा आसान है.
ट्रांसफॉर्मर मैं कह रहा हूँ चैट जीपीटी का अगर मैं कोड असेंबली में लिख दूँ वो बहुत आसान है.
चलिए ठीक है. Okay, so भैया, what will be the final advice would you give to students right now who are watching the podcast?
Like very simple advice. Like you all have came to college. Don't think like I have to achieve this, I have to achieve this, now I have to run for this. You overtrain yourself. Don't go for this. You have came to a college life. Enjoy every aspect of it. When you're in the class, enjoy your class. No matter who is the teacher, just enjoy the class. Like always sit with your friends, enjoy the class. When you're out of the class, think like that today what I have to do. Put your some time for like your enjoyment. There is no point in overtraining yourself. These 4 years will be something that you will remember even a lot after a lot of time. When I look back at my the past 3 years, I don't remember myself like learning ML or DL. I remember the trip that we all my friend group did to Northeast. We went to Mahabalipuram. We went to so many places. One more point that I'm not like always into this. I love to travel with my friends. So that is something. Make awesome memories with your friends. That is something I will recommend to all of you.
Great. So thank you very much for your time, भैया.
Thank you.
And one thing I would like to tell over here that thank you for having the trust on me and electing me as the Matrix lead for this tenure. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for seeing our podcast, and see you in the next episode.
Bye.